The Hulk. A child prodigy, Bruce Banner grew up in an abusive household, one that would have a profound long-term effect on his psyche. An introverted child, Bruce was ill-equipped to deal with the outbursts of his father, who called young Bruce a monster and terrorized both him and his mother. Bruce developed a multiple personality disorder, shunting aside and repressing all his negative emotions when the trauma became too much to take. This cycle of abuse continued until the day Brian Banner slew his wife in a fit of rage. Thereafter, Bruce was shuttled from relative to relative and grew ever more socially awkward, even as his remarkable intellect became more apparent.
Because that's how you get ant!
After Edward Norton's turn at the Hulk, there was sort of a conventional wisdom that the Hulk character wouldn't work on film. Several theories were proposed. One was that the special effects aren't good enough to make it believable. Another is that the concept itself, a puny scientist turning into an enormous green rage monster, is just unbelievable. There's one theory, though, that suggests that Bruce Banner and Hulk's conflict is internal. It's not easy to make a superhero movie that relies primarily on an internal struggle, because it's not very cinematic. But that didn't keep Ang Lee from trying. That's right. Today we're looking at one of Marvel's movies that they don't mention. One that Marvel wishes was kept locked away in a back room with Howard the Duck. Today we try to find anything nice to say about 2003's Hulk. Back when Marvel was on the brink of bankruptcy, they were selling off the film rights in the hope of recouping some of their losses. X-Men went to Fox, Spider-Man went to Sony, and Hulk went to Universal. The idea that Hulk doesn't belong on screen is sort of strange considering how well the TV show did. Ang Lee's tackling of the Hulk is 2 hours and 18 minutes. Hulk, the actual green rage monster, doesn't show up until 45 minutes into the movie. The story follows Bruce Banner, the son of a scientist who experimented on himself, as Banner chases his own scientific pursuits as an adult. He's trying to develop regenerative treatment, gets a heavy dose of radiation, which unleashes something inside him that's the result of his father's experiments. The military wants his research, then the military-industrial complex wants the Hulk. Banner's dad wants the Hulk because it's the proof positive of his testing. So most of the movie is people just toying with Bruce to try to trigger him as the Hulk so they can take his ability.
You're making me angry. Oh, am I?
One of the greatest strengths of this movie is the casting. Sam Elliott plays General Ross. He has a history with Bruce's father, David, who's played by Nick Nolte. Ross doesn't trust Bruce because Ross knew David Banner was crazy. In a lot of Hulk stories, Ross is designated as a bad guy. Maybe my love of Sam Elliott as an actor is clouding my judgment, but I thought Ross seemed a pretty conflicted character in this. His real fight is with David Banner. His conflict with the father shades his interaction with the son.
Why is he such a threat to you?
Because I know what he comes from. He is his father's son. Every last molecule of it.
Nick Nolte plays David Banner. He's a psychopath, so maybe that's typecasting? God, is he loathsome. Even the man who plays the young David Banner is disgustingly psychotic, experimenting on his son, himself, and ultimately killing his wife when she tries to stop him from killing Bruce as a child. Eric Bana is a wonderful Bruce Banner. Jennifer Connelly plays Betsy Ross. She and Bruce are partners on the regeneration experiment, and there's evidence of a past relationship. While they still work together, they are no longer dating, so there's some tension there, but still some obvious emotional investment between the two. Josh Lucas plays Talbot, a private military contractor who's trying to acquire Bruce and Betsy's experiment. He seems entirely too gleeful to play that part and shares some of the same psychosis as David Banner did. The hallmark of Ang Lee's Hulk is that it digs into the emotional internal struggle of Bruce and his green rage-filled demon side. One of the reasons Bruce and Betsy broke up seems to be that Bruce is fairly unemotional. It's not just anger, it's everything else. He's not passionate, he's not angry, he's simply unemotional. Which brings up a point that this movie is fairly detached from the origin story of Marvel's Hulk. At one point, Talbot has Bruce contained and wants to get a blood sample from Hulk. He starts beating up on Bruce, yelling at him to get angry so he can do what he needs to do. We even get a final scene of Bruce in the forests of the Amazon when he tells someone the iconic line, "You wouldn't like me when I'm angry." The only problem with this is this version of the Hulk isn't triggered by anger. The first time Bruce transforms into the Hulk is because Talbot has succeeded in getting the experiment classified as a military project. This means Bruce will no longer be part of that project because Ross has all that lingering prejudice against his father. He turns into the Hulk and destroys the lab equipment. He doesn't hurt anyone. He doesn't kill anyone. The next time he transforms is when his father tells him that he's sending his Hulk dogs after Betsy. Yes, this has Hulk dogs in it. Bruce transforms, finds Betsy, and saves her from the Hulk dogs. He hurts some people in leaving his house, but Hulk never attacks unless a shot was fired first. When Bruce comes back, he says to Betsy he turns into a mindless Hulk. Which is wrong, he doesn't. So far, Hulk has had very clear intentions during his transformations. While you can maybe attribute his first change to anger, the second was far more influenced by worry. I actually think that's one of the biggest strengths of Ang Lee's version of the character. While obviously not a genius, Hulk still problem solves. He does pursue non-lethal actions. In most cases, he just wants to get away from whoever is trying to hold him or kill him. He just wants to be left alone. 2003's Hulk is a slow burn movie exploring the internal struggle between Bruce Banner and Hulk. Even before the gamma rays hit him, Bruce struggles with his emotion. He has dreams about a traumatic childhood. He's detached from reality. It's a movie that tries to deal with the family trauma and repressed memories. Some of these ideas, with the Hulk serving as a coping mechanism, have been explored after this movie. Even as recently as Endgame, there is an undercurrent that there is more to the Hulk than a mindless rage monster.
For years, I've been treating the Hulk like he's some kind of disease, something to get rid of. But then I start looking at him as the cure.
The idea that Bruce could work it out with the Hulk and could exist at the same time is an interesting development in the Hulk mythos. There are other parts of 2003's Hulk that are fun. I like the effect when Hulk is running. There's a part when he catches a missile, bites off the warhead, and spits it back at the helicopter that shot him.
Tango 1, Tango 3, I have contact. Holy shit, he got my missile!
There's a fun scene where Hulk battles some tanks. The final battle, where Hulk fights his father, is even interesting. David Banner has developed some absorption powers. He absorbs a bunch of electricity and kidnaps Bruce out of military custody. His goal is to absorb the Hulk's abilities. The effect of the battle inside the lightning is really cool. Finally, David is attempting to take all of Bruce's power, and Hulk has a moment where he tells David to take it all and just, let's go. David can't handle it and explodes. And this is sort of the crux of all Hulk stories. Bruce Banner seems to be the only one who can handle the power, the existence of the Hulk. Abomination can't handle it, David Banner can't handle it. Bruce, even before the Professor Hulk phase in Endgame, has seemed to come to an understanding with his alter ego. Ang Lee's Hulk might have been the nail in the coffin for non-MCU Marvel films. The Amazing Spider-Man, Venom. With the exception of Logan, almost all Marvel characters at other studios have flopped after 2008's Iron Man. It's long and kind of boring, but at least 2003's Hulk took some interesting risks in the story of Bruce Banner. He doesn't fight a big beam in the sky, he doesn't even really have much of a hero's journey. It's primarily an examination of the internal struggle between a man and his emotions. It doesn't necessarily fit into the superhero movie pantheon. There just aren't enough tropes that would bring it into the genre. While based on the comic book, it departs maybe a little too much from the source material. If you have the time, it might be fun to watch 2003's Hulk. It will give you a metric to judge the development of superhero movies, and you might even appreciate what Joss Whedon did to develop the character in Avengers. Thanks for watching this episode of Anything Nice to Say. Tune in next time and never be ashamed to like what you like. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to receive alerts when we release a new video. If you have a movie that you think is underappreciated and want to see if I can find anything nice to say about it, drop it in the comments. Check out some of our other videos, including for other Marvel movies that everyone hates, like X-Men The Last Stand and Blade Trinity, as well as other movies that get a bad rap, either justified or not. Check out our store for merch and head over to Patreon for subscriber exclusives and early access.